Yo, it's your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video! Today's new video, can the Baltimore Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety All-Pro Earl Thomas over the weekend? We shall debate, we shall discuss. They may be able to get to the Super Bowl. Can they win the Super Bowl without one of their key pieces? I'm not too sure. We will discuss possible landing spots where he may be able to drop. Obviously, we know the Dallas Cowboys, we damn boys, will be one of the top destinations. So I hope everyone is having a good Monday. Watching right now the Blazers getting stomped by the Lakers. Tough day for us here in the 503. But I figured I'd hop on, kind of go over some destination spots. Obviously, we know the Dallas Cowboys. He played at the University of Texas. We know he loves the state of Texas, and so the Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans would be an obvious landing spot for him. Could be the San Francisco 49ers, New England Patriots. There's quite a few other places, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Los Angeles Chargers, Arizona Cardinals. There's a lot of places where he may be able to drop, but as we know, the number one destination, if you remember the running to the locker room and talking to Jason Garrett, with the Seahawks, back a couple years ago. He said, come get me. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what the destination is. But I want to go over, can the Ravens from Baltimore still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety All-Pro Earl Thomas? Now, the thing is, for me, it really does benefit one team and one team only, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Because with me, the Kansas City Chiefs were my number one option going back to back, like Drake would say. And then you had the Baltimore Ravens. But then you lose Marshall Yanda, one of the best offensive linemen we've ever seen, to retirement. Now you lose a guy where the narrative is he's been a problem since he's been there. He's late for meetings. He causes trouble. So they're leaking all this information almost like, making it look like it's a good idea so the fans don't get mad as much. At the team, if you get everyone speaking negatively about Earl Thomas. But the bottom line is, you can have some characters in the locker room, but you need talent to be able to win the Super Bowl. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go, but I want to be able to get your guys' take on this as well. But I hope you guys are having a great Monday. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. Lots of crazy things have been happening in sports lately, so I just wanted to kind of discuss a few of these things as we're moving forward going into the week. Let's acknowledge some of the people that are in the room. Ryan Schrick in the building. Kansas City Chiefs Kingdom, stand up. What to do? Lenny D said, what up, Ryan? What's up, man? Fly, Eagles, fly. Crazy weekend. You had SummerSlam, Monday Night Raw, Keith Lee, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns is back. Then you have Earl Thomas getting released. Testing for COVID seems like it's a little bit better under control. A lot of things that are going on in sports I'm going to be doing. Obviously, HBO Hard Knocks tomorrow. But I figured I'd hop online and just go kind of talk about the situation a little bit. Maybe destinations for Earl that could be a fit. The Baltimore Ravens were pretty much saying that, hey, this guy, we owe him $10 million. He's a little old. Right? He may not be the same player as he was when he was with the Legion of Boom. Do we really want to pay him the money? Right? Is he going to be the same type of player? Because the scheme that you put him in, based on last year's team, really wasn't to the strength of Earl Thomas when he was on the Seattle Seahawks. He didn't really get to roam the field. He wasn't really the same type of player. So it's kind of interesting to see the narrative that we're getting right now. A lot of negativity. And if you're noticing, it's detrimental to the team, so they're going to try to get into some kind of lawsuit if they're going to try to collect some of that $10 million back, right, or not. So it'll be interesting to see if that is something that they try to do. But it's pretty much saying that they think that he's such a problem on the field, off the field, in the locker room, that it's better off even without a Pro Bowl player. Maybe he didn't fit the scheme. Maybe they didn't want to pay him the money. And it's kind of funny, if you noticed, nobody else is really stepping up and really kind of saying, hey, Earl Thomas is my guy. You know what I mean? It was kind of fucked up that we let him go. Have you heard one Baltimore Raven player, Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Patrick Queen, Calais Campbell, Marlon Humphrey? Have you heard anybody say anything positive or anything? Are they afraid to talk because it's someone that they just let go off the roster? But no one has really spoken to the media about Earl Thomas. And then they were trying to say, well, all the higher ups and the team captains voted in unison that, hey, we should just get rid of this guy. But the thing is, I get it. You don't want to have a guy like an Antonio Brown or a guy that's going to be a problem in the locker room. I'm not too sure if the Ravens can win the Super Bowl now without Earl Thomas. I mean, that was one of the key cogs. I know he's getting a little bit older, right? He may not be the same player as he was with the Legion of Boom, but he's still one of the better, top 12 safeties, in my opinion, in the league. You needed to have that stability on the back end. And losing Marshall Yanda on the line and then losing that piece on the back end, that really makes it a lot easier now for me, in my eyes, for the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as some of the other teams, in the NFC trying to get, to that plateau. But I think the road is a little bit easier now. And who's to say that, if you kept Earl Thomas, he could have got an injury halfway through the season and then they might still be able to play without him. But it just kind of, the timing is unusual. I mean, I get it. They want to do it before the season starts because they don't want to pay him that $10 million. But I'm really interested to see where he goes, where he lands. And even if he lands on the Dallas Cowboys, you got Everson Griffin. It looks nice. That's going to make their team better, and they need a position like that. They haven't really had a solid safety in, quite some time. But I'm not sure if that's still good enough to say, hey, if they get Earl Thomas, the Dallas Cowboys, they are the front runners in the NFC. I don't think so. I still think there's going to be other teams that are going to be on that same level, if not better. But obviously you would want to, have that talent. But also on the flip side, how's it going to work in the locker room? Mike McCarthy's the type of guy, he wants continuity, chemistry. Jerry Jones might be a guy, I want the talent. Fuck it if he's a kind of a problem or a head case. We need to win, and we need to win now. So it'll be interesting to see who wins that tug-of-war battle. So I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think as well. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing Earl Thomas, the safety, and win it all? A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. And you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. So let's continue here to some of the other comments in the room. College has been kicking my ass. What does it say, Shriek? Kicking my ass, but I'm here now. I appreciate it, man. You know what I mean? You got to grind, hit the books. But it is going to be something interesting. Niners in the building says, as a Niner fan, we don't want his ass. So Ward just stepped up big this year. And obviously the Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas connection is intriguing. It would give him another piece with San Francisco. But I think I kind of agree with Niner that they don't really necessarily want any problems in the locker room. Yeah, Earl Thomas and obviously Richard Sherman, the Shermanator, would be exciting to see, two parts of the four of the Legion of Boom. But I really feel with what they have right now, they don't really need them, but it could be a landing spot. It would make sense, with the cover 3 scheme and the way that they are more open for him to be able to be more himself like he was in Seattle, rather than the scheme that he was running, like more of a quarters and, not really playing to his strengths in Baltimore based off the scheme. It's just a weird thing for me, because now I don't think the Ravens can get to an AFC championship game without Earl Thomas, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to win the AFC championship game, let alone win the Super Bowl without him. And then if the Niners get him, that's a nice key piece. Patriots, obviously in the thumbnail, that they could use all the help that they could get. Add a piece with the McCourty bros and then Stephon Gilmore. That would give them the best secondary besides the Los Angeles Chargers in the league if they ended up acquiring him. But I'm not sure if the Patriots really need him. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know we need some safety help, but I don't know if I really want that issue in the locker room, the way that he left Seattle, right? The middle finger to Pete Carroll, right? Him running to the locker room with Jason Garrett. Now his exit with the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, it's like, you got the talent. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I'm just kind of wondering now, did the Ravens fuck themselves by just, by making this move? Yes, it's a move where you're saving the $10 million. But what happens if this move costs you the Super Bowl? What if it costs you the AFC Championship game against the Tennessee Titans or the Kansas City Chiefs? And you needed that nice, solid player, even though he might be a headache in the locker room. Sometimes you got to deal with those headaches like T.O., and if you end up finding a way to keep that player, even through some of the drama that happens, if you end up winning the Super Bowl, it's going to be worth it. Now you let the guy go. Now you're trying to save the money, say how much of a bad player he was, even though how exciting it was when Baltimore picked him up. And now you lose Marshall Yanda due to retirement. I'm not too confident now in the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, they got one of the easier schedules going in to 2020, but I definitely got the Kansas City Chiefs at the top of repeating, even though it's so hard to repeat in this league. But they have the depth. They're returning a lot of starters. This is the most depth I've seen since maybe the Cowboys of 92, 93, and 95 in their little Super Bowl run. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs have long-term success built in their minds. Getting Tyreek there. You got Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes. Defense looks nice. You still got Chris Jones. Chris Jones, right? And you still got Honey Badger. You still got Frank Clark. So things are looking good. The Ravens might have fucked themselves with this move. Yeah, you're saving the money. Yeah, the locker room won't be as dramatic, but you might not be able to get past certain teams now without that solid piece. I mean, there's other guys next man up that could step up. This is a big loss for the Ravens. I know that in their minds, they did the right thing. And I can see where they're coming from. You're saving the money. You don't want to pay him that $10 million. You think that he can't play the scheme, so it's not a scheme fit. You say he's late for meetings. He punched, the teammate in the head. I get it, you know what I mean? But the thing is, there's not very many guys that are as good as Earl Thomas, even at this age. So if you end up having gunslingers that are going to toss the ball like Patrick Mahomes, you're going to need a solid piece on that back end. And the Ravens bringing in Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe, obviously from the Denver Broncos. Those were nice additions. But I was counting on having Earl Thomas there. And then Marshall Yanda retired. I didn't like that. I mean, good for him. Great career. But for the Ravens to be able to overtake the Chiefs and to be able to win, if you have a good defense like the Titans or you have a good scheme with Vrabel on the way they did it, other teams are going to start to pick that up. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is the fastest player, at quarterback. And, eventually they're going to take better angles. And if he ends up, not sliding or throwing the ball away or taking a sack, he might end up getting hurt. And I don't want to see that happening. I know he's going to have a great year, but this is really concerning to me if I'm a Baltimore Raven fan. And if you act like it's not a big deal, I mean, you're kidding yourself. I mean, this is a really good player that you gave up. No one was really going to trade for him because the $10 million was a lot of money. I get it, right? But it's just very concerning to me now. It definitely favors the Kansas City Chiefs tremendously in my book as the top team in the AFC. I don't really see any teams really competing with the Chiefs or the Ravens. In the AFC. I mean, there'll be teams that'll try, the Bills and the Patriots and the Steelers, and there'll be bubble teams like Denver and the Chargers. Titans will be good. Colts should be good. There'll be some teams, but there's a big gap between the top two, the Chiefs and the Ravens, and the rest, in my opinion. Maybe the Bills will be the third best team. We'll have to see where they go, or maybe the Steelers, with Big Ben Revenge Tour. And then the NFC's got the Saints and the Niners. We'll see what the Cowboys if they get Earl. And then you got Tampa Bay in the mix with Tom Brady. Seahawks with Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. The Vikings. Maybe Detroit's a bubble team with the Cardinals. We'll have to wait and see. But very concerning to me, moving forward to see what happens. And I'm kind of wondering what you guys think as well. Shrick says, Chiefs dodge a bullet. Didn't need that cancer on my team. And they weren't interested in a player like Earl Thomas anyways. I mean, the exit with Seattle and the exit with the Ravens, very concerning to me about this next team. If he ends up being a problem, will it be like third strike, you're out? Antonio Brown only got so many chances. But now you have two kind of teams that, when he got released, it's not really what you expected from an Earl Thomas kind of player. First ballot Hall of Famer. I didn't really see him going out the way that he did in Seattle with the middle finger. Now you're going out on kind of weird terms with the Ravens, and I thought the marriage was pretty good there, but obviously it wasn't. But also, we have to see the narrative. Is it really about Earl Thomas, or is it more about they didn't want to pay him the $10 million, and they didn't think that he would fit the scheme? Really, what is it? You know what I mean? Is he really as bad of a guy as they're making him out to be? I don't think so. You know what I mean? I think it's really more about the business side of the NFL and that whether they want to admit it or not, leaking all that information, late for meetings, not a good teammate, this or that, not a good scheme. I think it's more about the money. But if you're going to be so greedy about the money, that might have cost you a Super Bowl this season. And I'm not saying the Ravens can't win a Super Bowl in the next couple years. I think it's definitely possible with Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, Patrick Queen, and a lot of the defensive players, Calais Campbell, Marlon Humphrey. They got a squad. But you're going to have to get teams like the Chiefs to fall, the Titans to fall, the Bills to fall, to be able to take that next jump. Because if you got teams that have good defenses or they have an amazing quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, I'm not sure if it's just going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy all the way to the AFC Championship game, because they thought that they were going to go last year and you lost to the Titans. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to kind of wait and see, but I just don't like the move. I don't like the move. You know what I mean? But maybe it'll be okay, and maybe it'll prove me wrong that the Ravens are still going to be good enough to win the Super Bowl. They can get past the Chiefs or the Titans or another good solid team, and the AFC play the Saints or the Niners or Packers or Tampa Bay, whoever in the Super Bowl, and win. But this is going to definitely make it a lot harder with no Marshall Yanda on the line. I don't know how they're going to replace him. And now you're going to have to try to find a replacement for Earl Thomas, and I don't think you got it. And that's facts. Trey Holiday in the building. What to do? Anthony Ramirez in the building. Yo, what up, bro? What to do? Lenny D, Roman Reigns, a heel. I got to love it. I absolutely love it. You know, he got the new teeth. I know Randy Orton's been talking shit on Instagram and Twitter, but it's about time you had certain people, you know, like Bailey went heel. We were waiting for that. Roman Reigns needed to go heel. Certain guys and girls, you know, you're just waiting for them to kind of go heel. Like, you know, Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hogan, one of my favorites of all time. That heel turn was never going to be topped. So I love that. And SummerSlam, I'm not sure if a lot of y'all got to see it or not. Obviously, it seemed like it was a pretty good event. I didn't get to watch it live. I wasn't really feeling good over the weekend. But I'll probably end up watching a replay of it maybe tomorrow or Wednesday as I get caught up after Hard Knocks and a few other things. Lenny D say Ravens should have cut him after he betrayed his team when Derrick Henry turned Earl Thomas into a blocker in a playoff game. The stiff arm from hell, I know, right? He said, Lenny D said, I don't care if the Cowboys get him or not. He still don't scare me. But it would make the Cowboys better. You know, let's not, like, you know, turn your head and act like it wouldn't make a difference. Having a player like that wants to be in Dallas, that wants to be a Dallas Cowboy, you know, maybe Jerry Jones doesn't care about the attitude, right? And Mike McCarthy does. But adding that piece with an Everson Griffin would kind of shrink that gap a little bit, because I had the Eagles at top, right? You had Gerald McCoy and the whole line, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dontari Poe, right? And then you added Everson Griffin. So then I was like, okay, the gap is getting a little bit smaller. I still got the Eagles at the top, right, in the division, NFC East, but now it's shrinking a little bit. You bring in Earl Thomas, even though Jerry McCoy's out for the season, then it gets a little bit more even. The chemistry is going to be stronger with the Eagles. Player for player, I like the Eagles better, but the Cowboys got some amazing players. I know CeeDee Lamb's going to be amazing. DeMarcus Lawrence is a beast. Leighton Vander Esch, you can't tell me that there's no team that wouldn't want a player like that on their team. Because I'll tell you what, as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, Leighton Vander Esch, sign me up. DeMarcus Lawrence, sign me up. Zeke, sign me up. Michael Gallup, sign me up. Amari Cooper, sign me up. CeeDee Lamb, definitely sign me up. Not so much on Dak, right? I'm not saying that he's not the guy, but you know, there's a few other people that I would rather want than Dak, but maybe this will be the year that he proves it. But there's quite a few pieces there that if you add those pieces and those guys, that could make a difference. Maybe that's the Earl Thomas with the Cowboys. Maybe the difference between winning a playoff game with Earl or getting to the playoffs and losing without Earl. You know, we got to wait and see, because I think the Cowboys, they're in that, you know, before some of these additions, you know, they're sitting around 8 or 9 wins. But adding Everson Griffin, if he's healthy, and if you get Earl Thomas, that probably bumps you up at least 1 more win, 2 more wins. So if you're normally an 8-8 team or so and you're underachieving, maybe the Cowboys can get 10 or 11 wins. It's not that crazy to think, especially with arguably maybe a top 5 offense. The defense could be better. You have Earl Thomas on the back end. Then you have Leighton Vander Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence. You got guys on every level. It's going to make it a little bit harder for the Eagles to win the NFC East. And if both teams make the playoffs, Eagles and Cowboys, I don't think anybody in the NFC would want to play either of those teams. Same thing goes for the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and my Tom Brady. And that's facts. Let's see here. Beefy in the building. What to do, my guy? So what the fuck happened to the Blazers? Man, we are. It's rough. You know, Dame got hurt, and we just, they want to talk about the free throws and the fouls. You know, the Lakers are just a better team. You know, we stole game 1. I thought, game 2 and 3, we just brought it. But, the Lakers with the depth, LeBron, AD, 2 of the top 6 players, arguably, that are in the NBA right now with AD and LeBron, Kuzma. Then you're getting guys on the bench, KCP and these other guys that normally are off started hitting shots. And they started just dominating the Blazers. You know what I mean? And remember, the Blazers are an 8 seed. So, I mean, it was exciting to win game 1. Don't get me wrong. But it's definitely disappointing to see kind of the lack of effort the last couple games. Dame's injury has definitely been a big factor. If Dame wasn't injured, could be a little bit closer. But in all reality, winning this series, it probably wasn't going to happen. I mean, we were hoping after game 1 that maybe we could go in 6 or 7 and maybe, steal a couple more wins. But the Lakers are the number 1 seed for a reason. The Lakers, the Clippers, and the Bucks were the 3 best teams going into coronavirus, right? The Bucks lost game 1 to Orlando. They're starting to get back on track. We saw that amazing shot by Luka, doing things that, only certain players can do. And they're starting to even up with the Clippers. So we're going to see where that goes. But it definitely is a little disappointing. But it's not like the Blazers are a 3 seed or a 4 seed. I mean, we had to get into the tournament barely, beating Memphis. And then, obviously with the Phoenix Suns being the only other, the undefeated team and going 8-0. And then we knocked them out, the hottest team besides us. So sometimes that flame burns out. And if you don't get good production from C.J. McCollum, Skinny Mello, and the rest of the squad, Nurkic, Zach Collins is out for the year. That didn't help. Dame getting injured, the bench not producing, not getting numbers. I mean, for us to win the series, you needed Skinny Mello to be Skinny Mello in the bubble prior to the playoffs. And he hasn't really lived up to the billing, and that's just a credit to the Lakers. They did a great job. They're going to move on in the series, and we'll see what they can do. Maybe they will win it for Kobe, this year. I mean, they're definitely going to be one of the favorites after this series and then moving forward. Because I think for pretty much whoever wins the West is going to win the NBA championship. I don't really think the Milwaukee Bucks have a shot. I mean, it could be Milwaukee Bucks, it could be Boston, Miami, whoever it ends up being in the East. But I don't think, the best team to me that would match up the best is probably the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics. But I only see those teams winning maybe a game or 2 against like a Laker team or a Clipper team. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, definitely disappointed on, how poorly the Blazers have played after game 1. That's facts. Ryan Strick, Tyrann Mathieu, 20 times better. Well, you can't compare Tyrann Mathieu with Earl Thomas. Come on, man. A little bias there because he's on your team. No Clan Jolly said it just popped up because the Blazers are losing by 30. Hey, it's all right, man. It happens. I'm a Mariner fan. Haven't been to the playoffs since 2001. Biggest, drought in MLB. Blazers, we normally aren't that great of a team. We overachieved last year. So when they end up doing poorly, doesn't surprise me. Tampa Bay got the second longest streak, with the Cleveland Browns and a few other teams of just being piss poor. No playoffs for me since 2007. And I got my Oregon Ducks. And at least they're respectable. And I like what they've been doing the last few years, post-Chip Kelly era. So it is what it is. That's about being a sport fan and sticking with your teams. And that's facts. But I got to give credit to the Lakers. They've definitely been beating Portland's ass these last 3 games. That's facts. Calvin Griffin in the building. His best days were behind him. Said, I'm sorry, but he wasn't making that much of a difference. Well, Earl Thomas, I still think he can make a difference. It just wasn't the right scheme necessarily there. But if he goes to a team like the Dallas Cowboys or the Niners or, Tampa Bay or some other team, I think he could make a difference for a roster, adding that extra piece. But he's got to be a calm guy and a teammate that people want to work with, on and off the field. And I'm not sure if you're going to get that out of Earl Thomas at this point in his career. That's facts. Peters doesn't play good without a good safety over him. The Philly 3291 says. Agreed. Shrek says Brett Veach is a god. The Chiefs have 13 million open cap space. How? For real. If you don't fit the scheme, and he don't, they ain't losing ish. Campbell works wonders for him. Yeah, we're going to see. You know what I mean? He definitely, if they were going to cater to more of his, abilities, instead of running that type of quarters and not having him be as free like it was in Seattle, the only thing they're doing is hurting themselves. So obviously with the punch and these late for meetings and all these other things that are coming up are interesting, but I'm not sure if the Ravens can get to the AFC Championship game. I feel they can get there. Let me rephrase that. I feel that the Ravens can get there without Earl Thomas, but I don't know if you can win the AFC Championship without Earl Thomas. Because I still think the Chiefs are the best team in football, and they're the team to beat. I just don't think that you need every single weapon that you possibly can have to compete with the Chiefs. You're not going to outscore them. You need defense, right? And even if he's older, he's still a nice piece. The pieces they have there now aren't as good as Earl Thomas. They're just not. That's facts. So it might not even matter it could be Ravens Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs could win by 15 or 20 points. Even with Earl there. But, with losing those two pieces, Earl Thomas and Marshall Yanda to retirement this year, it's going to make it a lot harder for the Baltimore Ravens unless they get good replacements for those two players. Looks like being 26 points down over 6 minutes left in the game, the Blazers have already forfeited the game. Yeah, Dame injured. I mean, it's not looking good. It is what it is, man. You still got to be Rip City every day, all day, and we still represent. Sound like the Ravens locker room was done with them, and so what choice do you have? A guy, Raiders. Right. But sometimes you deal with locker room guys like T.O., based off the talent that they have. You let certain guys get away with things, just like when you're at work or when you're at certain locations or certain people that get away with certain things based off their production, right, or who they are. If it's a rookie or a first-year player or second-year player punching a guy, right, or being late for meetings, the fucker's gone. He's cut. But for a guy that's a Pro Bowl guy typically, or, someone that's a little bit better of a player, normally they'll give that guy a little bit more leeway. So we'll see if this is a good move or not for the Ravens. I still like their schedule. I like what they have on offense. The defense with Derek Wolfe and Calais Campbell's great, right? With the pieces that they already have, Patrick Queen should be a beast. But the back end kind of makes me nervous now with no Earl Thomas there. That's facts. Said Brett Veach is magic. He should get some kind of award. That's facts. So we almost had to deal with them, but the Ravens came in and stole them away from us, thank God. Well, obviously Honey Badger is a better fit. Earl Thomas was dumb about the fight. Yeah, but it sounds like they were just looking, for that last straw, that broke the camel's back. I think it's more about the money. I think it's really more about the business side, and they just try to make it more of an excuse and start leaking all this other things that happen with them. So, can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety Earl Thomas? I'm not too sure. A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. And you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. So a couple destinations, you can see in the thumbnail, Niners, Patriots, Cowboys, Chargers, Texans, Cardinals. But the most obvious one is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. It would be the most likely fit, and it could definitely help them win the NFC East or be right in the running with the Eagles. I mean, they're just a few more pieces away on paper of really competing, and if the Eagles have a couple injuries or the Cowboys have a couple injuries, that other team is going to take advantage for sure. But there's a good opportunity for the Eagles and the Cowboys, with or without Earl, to get 10 wins or more this season, based on who they have on the team and the roster, and that's facts. A-guy, Tyrell Williams out for the year. That's a hit for the Raiders wide receiver core. Raiders. And we saw Grant Delpit out for the year. Safety for the Browns, another player, out for the year. It's really sad right there. CG mentioned it. Grant Delpit out for the year too. Tyrell Williams is not out. He will be sidelined, Tracy says. A-guy says, damn. Nola in the building. Yo, what to do? Didn't know you was live. I know I should have probably let you know. I'm here now, my boy. I figured I'd just hop on for a little bit and talk about the Earl Thomas situation. Very interesting to me with the timing of everything. More about the money, necessarily maybe about the player. And there's always two sides to a story, but he definitely went out on a negative route, flipping Pete Carroll off, after the injury, and then left the Seattle Seahawks and the Legion of Boom. Now we thought the marriage with the Ravens was good, and obviously it wasn't as good. They're starting to say not a scheme fit. They owe him $10 million, a lot of money, late for meetings. None of the leadership, captains all agreed that it would be good for them to let him go. No one has stepped up on the Ravens and said anything positive about Earl Thomas. So maybe they're afraid because it was detrimental, conduct to the team. They don't want to step up and get themselves in trouble for standing up for a guy that's no longer on the team. It's next man up, move forward. The Ravens are trying to dethrone the Chiefs, and they're the top two teams in the AFC, and they're the top two teams in the NFL. Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. And that's facts. Let's see, Nolan's in the building. Strick, Caruso's the GOAT. Oh, man, don't go there. Don't go there. Let's see, opener on your birthday, he says. Get ready for that L, Nola. Tom Brady, Tampa Bay, going to give the Saints the big L on your birthday. Oh, man. So I wanted Melo to get a ring. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Calais makes them so much better. Earl ain't making that much of difference. Well, Calais Campbell's getting a little bit older as well, but I disagree. I mean, like I said, with the scheme, he didn't really have as big of a year, right? But, I mean, you can't tell me that Earl Thomas isn't going to help the Ravens at all if he was still there. It gives them a better shot to get to the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl and win. If the Dallas Cowboys get Earl Thomas, you can't tell me that that's going to make them more of a contender in the NFC East and the NFC in general if they add Earl Thomas and he ends up playing, as a good football player, maybe not all pro status, but if he ends up being a decent, solid starter for the team and maybe can get to a Pro Bowl-ish kind of level of talent, you're telling me that's not going to make a difference for the Dallas Cowboys? Might made a difference for the Ravens last season. But this was a whole new year. We're in obviously a coronavirus, COVID-19 year. We're going to see where it goes. Saints winning the bowl. I disagree. Not going to happen, my guy. Seahawks fan 9,000. Hope Earl Thomas comes back to Seattle. Seahawks fan 9,000. Absolutely 0% chance that he comes back to Seattle. He already burnt the bridge with Pete Carroll and John Schneider. There's no way that they would want a guy like him coming back after flipping Pete Carroll off. That's never happening. And if he ends up being a Hall of Famer, which I think he's going to be, I'm not sure if he even would go in as a Seattle Seahawk. I mean, I imagine he would have to because that's where a majority of his success has come. But, I mean, it's not like he's going to ask Pete Carroll to talk at his speech or anything like that or introduce him in the Hall of Fame. They definitely went out on kind of a bad note, and that's facts. Eagles definitely not going anywhere. I wouldn't say that, my guy. Be careful what you ask for, my guy, Nola. You know what I mean? You guys are so confident, Saint fans, on how great your team is, what's happened the last 3 years, and if you talk too much, the Eagles might play you in the playoffs, and then the same thing that happened with the Vikings last year might happen with Carson Wentz and the Saints this year. You know what I mean? You're running out of time, my guy. Saints fans can be all confident, and you can talk shit as much as you want, but your team, to me, on paper, it looks great. You got a lot of talent, but the pressure is on, and a lot of times you guys fold under pressure. I need to see you guys prove everyone wrong that you're not going to fold under pressure. Because how many times are you going to keep getting to the playoffs and then losing, especially when you have a lead? And that's not talking shit. That's just facts. You know what I mean? There's other teams that are going to be able to compete, and you guys are only a 1 or 2 player injury away from sliding down from that top spot in the NFC South and Tampa Bay overtaking you. And who knows? Maybe Tampa Bay with Tom Brady and his play will just outplay you guys this season. I'm just saying. Just opening up that window. You guys are running out of time. The hourglass is turned over, my guy. Steelers traded AB, so... Right, but the thing is, with AB, with being all crazy and whatnot, if AB could get his mind right and he was back on the Steelers right now, do you really think that he couldn't be a top 5 wide receiver in this league if he was mentally stable and he was back with the Steelers? I mean, I think that he could still be a top 5 wide receiver. Everyone just likes to write him off just because they feel like he went crazy and, he doesn't have the proper people around him and whatnot. But I still think AB, with the talent that he had, I mean, he was the number 1 wide receiver for how many years in a row? I still think that a guy like that, I mean, if he could just surround himself around the right talent and the right team, if someone could give him a shot. But with all these legal problems and mental issues and things that are happening, I don't know if it'll ever happen. But I'm still rooting for a guy like that. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for guys to have a second chance, maybe third chance, but he has to be in a right fit, in a right scheme. He's got to have the right people around him. The ego's got to go out the door. But it just depends on his, legal issues, his health, and everything else that's going on. But I'm rooting for AB. Fly like a butterfly, sting like AB, one of the most entertaining wide receivers to ever play this football in NFL that we love watching every weekend. Shrek says Chiefs going back to back. We'll see. We'll see. Lenny D said, never said we was, but you sound certain of that. Y'all going. Yeah, and the thing is, the NFC is so open every year with all the teams. There's not one team that typically goes over and over and over again. So there's some windows there. So obviously the Saints haven't been to 3 NFC championship games back to back to back. But the way that they've lost the last 3 years is probably the more detrimental than any other, 3 teams situations that have happened over the last 3 years. If you think about it, losing with the Minneapolis Miracle, no pass interference call with the Rams, last year to the Vikings. So, I mean, they're definitely got the talent, and they're going to be one of the favorites. But I think mentally it's kind of in their heads. And I'm not sure if a team like that is going to be able to overcome, even with the Emmanuel Sanders addition and everything that they've added with the roster, maybe a healthy AK-41. But we'll see. We will see. I'm confident my Tampa Bay Buccaneers will beat the brakes off y'all. So we'll see what happens and see how good you guys really are. But I think Tampa Bay will be just as good as you guys, if not better. And that's facts. Odin's child in the building. What to do? Mariota struggling. Raiders camp not beating out Carr. Looks like he lost the confidence. And from what he had in the media, Mariota is struggling throwing. Well, it's still early. Carr will probably be the day one starter, but we'll see if he ends up being the starter moving forward. A guy, $5. Bang! My guy, appreciate you. Shrek says, so did mine, young Nola. I like Emmanuel Sanders, but we ready. I like Emmanuel Sanders too, and I'm ready for y'all too. Bucks versus Ravens Super Bowl, I predict. Could be. Bucks Ravens, Bucks Chiefs. You know what I mean? I just think, with Tom Brady and the squad that I have, you know what I mean? Sometimes you may think that your team's better than you really are. We'll see how many wins that you get. And it doesn't matter how you start the season. It's how you end the season. You go 13-3, 14-2, 15-1. But if you keep losing every year in the playoffs, I mean, how many times before that starts weighing on you, where they start thinking about that, where they start pressing? Because if any team presses too hard, it's the New Orleans Saints. And they've proven that the last 3 years. Just not sure if they can overcome all the adversity. Just saying. And then the whole Drew Brees thing in the offseason, that's definitely not going to sit well with some of those players. They can act like that wasn't a big deal, but I guarantee some of the players in the locker room are not going to forgive him for that. They can say, oh, yeah, we hashed it out. Everything's cool. We'll see. We'll see when we end up playing this season in 2020. Old Seattle Pete got the bird. Odin Child said, glad he didn't come back to KC. Well, you know that. Young Nola, that's the score of this year when we beat y'all. Uh-oh. Odin Child, Keith Lee going right at the legend killer, Randy Orton. I know I saw that. I did not get to see SummerSlam last night, but I know a lot of y'all did. Malcolm Jenkins flipped Sean Payton off. That's true. I remember seeing that. Well, except the Roman part now. We'll get the triple threat, Roman being heel. I like that. So it was good. I was upset the Jeff Hardy AJ Styles match took a backseat to Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. That's facts. Let's see here. Let me keep scrolling down.
It's a tough position against a good team. So, we regroup.
So AB would have been a top 5 wide receiver with the Raiders last year. Possibly.
We know what we're up against when you're down.
Otis, you look like Otis.
So we got a battle.
He's, I do, I just don't like him. Sonya Deville, yeah, that one guy tried to burglarize the house and kidnap her, but she wasn't there. Crazy shit that happened. So when was the last time any team went back-to-back, and how many years ago was that, right? But the thing is, the Kansas City Chiefs are built differently than any other team in the NFL right now. And if you don't believe that, you're kidding yourself. I mean, the Chiefs are built for that long-term success. I'm not even a Kansas City Chief fan, but, I can tell based on how they're built, no quarterback is even close to Patrick Mahomes' level. Not even close. Not even close. And like I keep telling you guys, whether you guys are willing to admit it or not, he could go down not only as the best quarterback in this generation, he could actually go down in history as the best quarterback of all time, depending on how many rings he gets, depending on how many years he plays. But just based off the talent that I see, I'm not sure if there's anybody that really can compete with him. And if you keep good personnel on defense, you can keep good pieces on the O. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me keep scrolling down. How is Logan Ryan still a free agent? Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody's going to end up picking him up, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see who has more injuries so they can make a move. Let's see here. Everybody said all that same BS last year Saints couldn't overcome. Well, I think everyone thought the Saints were going to make the playoffs. I never heard anyone saying that they couldn't overcome and do that. I mean, come on. You played the Bucks and the Falcons and the Panthers, all booty teams. I mean, fucking A, man. You should make the playoffs if you're going to have 3 other teams in the division that aren't good. I mean, you're just easily rolling in. It's like New England Patriots in past years playing the Jets, Miami, and the Bills. Just because you play 3 shitty teams in your division doesn't necessarily mean that you're battle-tested for the playoffs, and you guys have proven that, you can beat the shit out of the Bucks, the Falcons, and the Panthers, but when it ended up playing good competition the last couple years, you guys couldn't step up to the plate, and you guys folded. Bad play calling by Sean Payton, lack of execution, right? And then just getting outplayed. Refs had a part of it in some of those games. But, I mean, you guys, you fold under pressure. I mean, that's the narrative. The Saints fold under pressure. And you can say, CG, the Bucs are going to be 8-8 at best. I'm going to laugh my ass off once we beat your guys' ass either once or twice this season and next year, and we end up maybe going to the playoffs, beating y'all then, and then if we end up going to the NFC Championship game and Super Bowl, and then what are you going to tell me then? You're going to be, I thought you guys were going to go 8-8, and then you're going to make some excuses. We'll see. I think my team's going to be just as good as yours. Personally, I think we're going to be better, and honestly, I think we have a better shot at making the Super Bowl than you. And that's facts. Based on my roster and who we have, you guys got some great players, and you got a great team, but I think with the pressure of everything being on the shoulders the last 3 years, we're going to be loose. You guys are going to be under the pressure cooker, okay? So we'll see where it goes. It's going to be fun, but damn well we ain't going to be no 8-8. You crazy. The only way we're going to be 8-8 is if Brady and Gronk and a bunch of players get injured. As long as the guys don't get injured, there's no way we're going to be 8-8. No one thinks the Bucs are going 8-8. You crazy. You crazy, my guy. It's just being 100% real. So somebody signed Clowney. We need to have him get signed as well. Fumbled the bag. He did. Thornhill this year, Odenschild would be great. Joey Chris in the building. Should have been higher than number 4 in the top 100. No one wants to pay $16 million a year for 3 to 4 sacks. That's facts. Natasha Cutie Pie in the building. Orion Brady's too worried about his legacy and numbers. Get ready for a lot of balls thrown away and grounding calls. We'll see. I like Tom Brady and the Bucs and what they're building right now. The environment in Tampa is different. And like I said, with the coronavirus and everything that's going on, I like Tampa's chances as much as anyone else's. The Saints, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, the Niners, Seattle, the Cardinals. Let's bring it. I'm ready for anybody in any division in the NFC. And I feel we'll be just as competitive with everyone that we've brought into the roster. And you guys are going to recognize how good Devin White and Levante David are. And obviously everyone knows about JPP and Sue and Shaq Barrett. But nobody really knows how good Devin White is, LSU linebacker last season, my rookie from last season, and Levante David, my favorite player currently on the roster. So we'll see really where it goes, but I think you're going to be surprised on how good Tampa Bay is going to be this season. All right, I'm scrolling down. Say 13-3 ain't just the Bucs and Panthers. Okay, but if you beat the Bucs, the Panthers, right, and the Falcons, that's 6 fucking wins. Come on, man. 6 wins. You only need a couple more to make the fucking playoffs. That doesn't mean that the team is good. Just saying. AKR DeGreek says Bucs are trash. We'll see. We'll see. We definitely are not going to be going 8-8. Killing me. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety Earl Thomas? A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. So it will be interesting to see where he falls. Cowboys are going to be the most logical fit. If he went to the Niners, it could definitely help that defense with a piece with Richard Sherman in the backfield, even though I don't think that's going to happen. New England Patriots are always used to signing guys that are kind of controversial, like Randy Moss, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the option. Tampa Bay Buccaneers could use a safety. The Chargers could use a safety. The Cardinals could use a safety. So there's a few other teams. The Houston Texans could use a safety. But I'm definitely excited to see where it goes. But the bottom line, the Chiefs are the best team in football. The Ravens, to me, are right up there with the Chiefs. But losing Marshall Yanda and losing Earl Thomas might be the end for them. They might be able to get to the AFC Championship game, but I don't know if they can win without Earl Thomas and Marshall Yanda. I still think that the Ravens are built for long-term success, like the Kansas City Chiefs. Could they win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? The Baltimore Ravens, of course they could. I think that they definitely could with Lamar Jackson. But the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, could win many, many Super Bowls. And, even if you lose Bieniemy and he ends up being a head coach next year, if you keep the core, Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Williams, even though he's taking care of his mom. You still got Tyreek the Freak Hill. You got Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman. I mean, you got so many pieces on offense. Chris Jones. Chris Jones? And then you got Frank Clark and Honey Badger and all the pieces there. They're going to have Juan Thornhill back. I mean, I don't know how anyone's going to really compete with the Chiefs. Yeah, it's hard to repeat, right? But if any team could repeat from last season to this season, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And, I mean, everyone can think that their team has a shot, but I really don't think any team in the NFC has got a shot really against the Chiefs or the Ravens. I mean, we'll see as the season goes on. The Ravens might win 14 or 15 games. The Chiefs don't need to win that many, but I still think they have the deeper team. And like I said, when it comes to the playoffs, you're going to have teams like the Steelers and the Bills and the Titans with good defense that might derail the Ravens and Chiefs' chances of getting to that AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. But I'm not sure if there's a collective unit. You know, maybe the Saints and the Niners are the two best teams right now in the NFC on paper, but I don't really know if those two teams could hang for 4 quarters with the Chiefs and Ravens. I don't think so. And then even if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my team, somehow, some way, I overachieve with my roster and we get there, I'm not sure if they could beat the Ravens or the Chiefs. I think they would have a better shot against the Ravens, but if it was the Chiefs and the Bucs, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to win that, you know? I mean, I'm rooting for Tom Brady. I'm just wanting to get to the playoffs. See, a lot of y'all, you guys don't understand what it's like to not be in the playoffs since 2007, the second longest drought, you know, in the NFL. So, I mean, you guys don't understand 13 or 14 years without even a playoff berth, not even a wild card. So, but I know I'm not going 8-8. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I think the least amount of wins Tampa's going to get is 10, and I think their ceiling is maybe 12. So I think somewhere in that 10 to 12 category. And, you know, all those extra wins that the Saints were getting against Tampa Bay. I mean, it's going to be a battle now these next 2 years. It's not going to be easy. The games are going to be very competitive. And I got a good roster, so it's going to be nice to see what happens. But we'll have to wait and see with the rosters and with the Clowney where he ends up going and Logan Ryan. There's a few nice pieces that are still sprinkled and left on the rosters, but we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing Safety Earl Thomas? A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. And I'm excited as the season is coming closer and closer. We got a few weeks away. Lots of reaction videos, a lot of live streams as we're getting closer with this NBA ending. MLB is in full swing, but I'm really excited for college football, and it really saddens me that, you know, we're not going to have Pac-12 football for my Oregon Ducks this season. No Big Ten football for Ohio State and a few of the other teams there in the Big Ten, because Ohio State and Oregon were going to play this year. I was really looking forward to that, and I love watching Big Ten football. But in the meantime, we're going to have SEC football, so lots of Alabama football I'm going to be on. AC still going with Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. So there'll still be a few matchups that we can see, but I'm excited to see where that goes. But I hope everyone is having, you know, a good Monday. Like I said, a lot of news, a lot of different moves that have been happening. And we're going to have to kind of wait and see what happens, but more than likely the Ravens and we'll see what kind of chemistry that they can build if they can use this as kind of a platform, getting rid of Earl Thomas, if they can really come together as a unit and a roster. You know, we're going to have to kind of see where it goes, but I definitely have some concerns for them moving forward. But as far as the Dallas Cowboys, if they end up getting them, I mean, this could be the difference of being second place, a wild card in the NFC East, to maybe possibly winning the NFC East, right, and over the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe getting an extra win or two with Earl Thomas. And then if you end up getting a player like Earl Thomas and he stays healthy, could it be the difference of them making the playoffs and winning a playoff game, or getting to the playoffs and losing a playoff game? Because they need to acquire as much talent as possible. I mean, I think the Eagles and the Cowboys, Saints and the Bucks, I mean, we're both going to be in the running to try to win the division. You know, NFC South, NFC East. You know, you got the Vikings and the Lions trying to nip at the Packers' heels. And we don't really know necessarily with the Niners, Seattle, the Cardinals taking a jump, or maybe the Rams surprising people in the NFC West. So it's going to be interesting to see really how things shake out, because you're always going to have teams that are last or third that jump to the top of the division or in second place. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. But we're getting closer. We are definitely getting closer to being able to find out where we're going to be, who's going to be the best teams. We're not going to have fans in every stadium so far as it looks like, but as we're getting closer and closer, they'll start releasing the statistics, 20% capacity, 10%. And like I said, some fans is going to be better than no fans, but we got the scoreboard ready. Editing is ready. Hopefully I can get Marcus to come through the building as much as possible, and then we'll be able to do some games Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, reaction videos. I'll probably have to do some of them by myself, but then he'll be able to hopefully come through and do a few with me, and then power rankings and a few other things. But the NFL season, that's the prime time for the channel, so I can't wait until we get there. College football, I'm going to be doing a lot of college football this season as well, especially with some of the conferences not being available. So a lot of Clemson games, a lot of Alabama games. I'm definitely going to try to soak in as much college football action as well. And then maybe a little bit of MLB and NBA as we get closer to the finals, depending on what the matchup is. Lakers, Bucks, Giannis versus LeBron, and a few other things also. But I just wanted to hop on just for a little bit and just, say what's up. It's Monday. It's been a long weekend. I wasn't really feeling too good the last few days, but I wanted to hop on, talk about Earl Thomas. I really feel that this might kind of hinder the Ravens making the AFC Championship game. They could still make it, in my opinion, but I'm not sure if you're going to win it now without Earl Thomas. Maybe they can have the next man up, step up. We're going to have to kind of see, if they can find a guy that can be a better scheme fit for him moving forward. But as far as the talent is concerned, Marshall Yanda, Earl Thomas gone, one to retirement, one that they let go and release. Kansas City Chiefs are definitely the team that benefits the most out of the Earl Thomas release, and we'll see if the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, New England Patriots, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Los Angeles Chargers, Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans, who will be the team that pulls the trigger for Earl Thomas, because whoever he goes to, if he can stay out of trouble, it's going to be a big benefit to whatever organization takes a chance, because it could be a difference between a team making the playoffs or not, a team getting to the NFC or AFC championship game or not, with him or without him. So we're going to have to kind of see what happens. But I think Earl Thomas to the Cowboys is definitely the front runner right now. He wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. He wanted to be there. He's from, Texas. He played at University of Texas. He's a former first rounder, first ballot Hall of Famer. So it just kind of makes sense to me. That would be the most logical place for him to go. Jerry Jones wants talent. Mike McCarthy wants chemistry and no problems in the locker room. But, if they can add that type of piece and not have to pay him a whole lot, obviously that $10 million is what they're kind of looking at. But if it's the difference between making the playoffs with Dak and, maybe getting to the NFC Championship game and overachieving this year, a lot of people don't think the Cowboys can win a playoff game, let alone make the NFC Championship game. But what if they add Earl Thomas and they win the playoff game, they win the NFC East, and they get to the NFC Championship game? I'm not saying that they're Super Bowl worthy, but at some point, you got to think the Dallas Cowboys are going to make some type of run, and at some point in the next 5 to 6 years, it wouldn't be crazy to think that they make an NFC Championship game. Maybe not win it, but to get there. That's kind of my opinion on things. I'm not really big on Dak, right? But they got nice receiving core. You got Zeke. O-line is good. You're building pieces on the defense. The Eagles are still going to be the biggest threat, obviously, in the NFC East. They got a lot of chemistry, and they play with a lot of heart and a lot of passion. I got to see some better play calling out of Kellen Moore. You got to have some better execution. You got to be able to step up and be better on third down. You got to be better in the red zone. But we'll see. Maybe this is the year they take the next step. It's possible. And adding Earl Thomas might be the cherry on top to really get them over the hump. So we'll see where it goes. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety Earl Thomas? A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. But the Bucks matchups against the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, the rest of the NFC. I can't wait to talk shit to all you guys. We finally have a team that's worth talking shit about. We're going to be obviously better than people think. We're going to be on the map. We got 5 primetime games. We're going to be loose. I've been watching a lot of training camp film from all the teams. Tampa Bay looks very solid. There's a lot of chemistry there. I think that, like I said, 8-8 is not going to be a reality, Calvin Griffin. As much as your Saints have dominated the division, the tables are turning, my guy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming for the NFC South title, and not only that, we're coming for the playoffs, and we're coming to do some damage. The Super Bowl is in Tampa this year. You know, if you got Tom Brady, you got a chance. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens, you know, as we go through the matchups, and especially if we end up beating you guys in the Dome week 1. And then what's the excuse going to be? Oh, we didn't have fans there. Oh, the refs ripped us off. Don't give me none of that shit if we end up beating you guys week 1, let alone if we sweep you guys this season. I know it sounds crazy, and you don't think it's going to happen, but I'm saying Tampa Bay has got a good enough shot as anybody in the NFC with the roster that I've built this season to make it not only to the playoffs, to win a playoff game, and possibly even overachieve and make the NFC Championship game and go to the Super Bowl. Not saying that they will win the Super Bowl, but there's a chance that they might be able to overachieve and get there. It's Tom Brady. He's one of the best of all time. That's facts. Troll Patrol in the building. What up, Orion and the Northwest Sports Fanatics? I hope Dallas gets Earl Thomas. They need that secondary upgrade. I agree. They need it. They need it desperately. Jesus is Love 77 says, I hope Dallas wins the whole thing. Well, I think every Dallas Cowboy fan has been saying that since 92, 93, and 95 with the era with Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. You know, you had Dion for that, you know, short limited period of time, you know, and they're getting better, you know, but they still need to have better play in the red zone, better play on third down, better play calling by Kellen Moore. But finally, you got rid of Jason Garrett. So now you can finally let the strings go with Jerry Jones. Now we're going to see if Mike McCarthy is going to be kind of that same guy with the strings or not. But we will see. Tampa has some good camp videos up. I mean, we're looking good. I mean, O.J. Howard looks good. Gronk looks good. He's in really good shape. He's not wearing the arm, brace anymore. Everyone's looking fluid out there. Godwin looks faster. Hands look great. Mike Evans looks good. The running back core looks good. Defense looks phenomenal. And the thing is like not only Tampa Bay could have a top 5 offense with Tom Brady, we could average, 25 to 30 points a game this season, and we could have one of the best offenses in the league. But on the flip side, even with an O-line that's still improving and a running back core that could be better, right? But when you have the roster with Tom Brady, less turnovers, I think it's going to be easy for us to be able to score points. And on the flip side with the defense, I don't think people realize how good our defense really is. I think we have a good chance to be a top 15 defense for a good chunk of the year. But if we can really pull it together, especially in prime time and in those close games that are by a touchdown or 8 points or less, there's a chance that we could be a top 10 defense this season. With the roster that we have, JPP, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, the sack champion, 19.5, Devin White, Levante David, some pieces on the back end that are getting better. Antoine Winfield Jr., obviously the rookie, Antoine Winfield. That's obviously his dad, who formerly played on the Vikings. He's really making some, headway and leeway in camp, and we got some nice pieces. Carlton Davis, John Murphy Bunting. I'm just really liking the way that the roster is shaping up. And I think that we're really going to start surprising a lot of people starting week 1. And I'm confident as ever. Normally if I play the Saints or I'm playing a good team, right out the gates, I'm like, fuck, this is going to get ugly. We're going to lose by 14 or more. The season's going to be over by October. We're going to be, 4 to 6 win team, right? But Jameis Winston is no longer there. So you have to realize the vibe in Tampa is different. There's a reason why Tampa is getting a lot of media coverage, and it's not just Tom Brady. Tom Brady is obviously a big part of it because he's changing the culture. But look at all the other pieces that have come in and the way that they're changing kind of everything with the roster. You got Bruce Arians, you got Byron Leftwich at OC, Todd Bowles, I got 3 head coaches. Everything is really coming together for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No pressure. We're going to be loose. We're going to have fun. And I just can't wait to just rub it in to all the haters that think that we're going to be a horrible team, to all the people that think that we're only going to win 8 games, to all the people that think that we're not going to make the playoffs this year or next year. You're really kidding yourself. We're going to come for all you guys, and we're going to end up, maybe not winning the Super Bowl, but I definitely know we're going to break that drought, that playoff drought that we've had for all these years, and Tampa's going to be fun to watch. I mean, even if you didn't like Tampa Bay before, you're going to tune in. You're going to want to see if Tom Brady succeeds, plays good, plays bad, how many wins we get, how Godwin, Mike Evans look, how my defense looks. And that's all we want. We just want to be respectable. We want to be out there, and we can show that we're a good football team. And I think that they're going to be able to do that. The culture has changed with Tom Brady and Gronk. And thank God, you know what I mean? With a roster like mine, haven't been to the playoffs since 2007. I know a lot of y'all wouldn't be able to stick with a team that long that's been in that kind of drought. But with all those different starting quarterbacks that we've had over the years, Brad Johnson got me the Super Bowl. Jeff Garcia got me to the playoffs. Chris Sims got to me in the playoffs in 05, Jeff Garcia in 07, but a lot of bad booty quarterbacks and not really having that franchise guy. And even if I only have Tom for a year or two, I'm telling you, it's possible that Tom overachieves and we make the Super Bowl this year. I mean, and the Super Bowl is in Tampa. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The storyline and everything that is playing out, Lakers winning it for Kobe this year, but Tampa, not having any team ever win the Super Bowl at home before, and then Tom Brady comes to Tampa Bay, brings Gronk, right? And we have a good enough shot as anybody in the NFC. It's a possible coronavirus, COVID-19. He stays this year. We have success. He's going to come back next year for us as well. And who knows, maybe another year after that. I really like the way that the game is changing in Tampa. And I think after Tom Brady leaves, there's going to be more and more free agents and more players that are going to give Tampa a second look. And that's all I've ever wanted. I just want to be a good football team and be competitive with the rest of the NFC and the AFC moving forward. So can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after Ravens released him, safety, Earl Thomas? Can it be possible? Can they make the AFC Championship game? Can they make the Super Bowl? I'm not sure. Make the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl without Earl Thomas? I don't know. Looking good for Kansas City Chiefs right now, going back-to-back, in my opinion, but maybe they can still get there, but that means everyone else is going to have to step up. Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe, Marlon Humphrey, Patrick Queen, and then the offense, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram. Lamar Jackson's going to be great, but sometimes after having a great year, sometimes there's a little bit of a fallback. So we'll see if they end up improving. The schedule is pretty soft for them, so I'm not sure if they're going to really take a step backwards. If anything, they can maybe get their win total up to 14, 15. I don't think they're going to go undefeated. They can maybe go 15-1, 14-2 in that general range, but what really matters is what's going to happen in the playoffs. And I'm not too sure if they play a battle-tested defense like the Titans again, and they have a good scheme for Lamar. And if Mark Ingram's hurt, that really falls into the favor of the other team if you have a good defense and can control the tempo. And that's facts. So we're going to have to see. Oh, Henry in the building. What to do? Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety Earl Thomas? A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And you can follow us at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. You got to think and you got to understand, with a shitty-ass Jameis Winston going 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, 5,000 yards passing, booty, right, Jameis Winston, right, and all the fumbles that he lost. We went 7-9. Our defense got really strong in the last 6 weeks of the season, in the last 6 games. So if the defense can end up being top 10, top 15, and Tom Brady doesn't turn the ball over, I don't need him to throw 30 or 40 or 50 touchdowns. You know what I mean? And he's going to have probably 12 interceptions or less for the season. So if you have good ball control and they have better balance, there's going to be a lot of games Tampa Bay is going to win. And out of all those 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, I had a lot of games out of those 9 losses. I think 6 or 7 of them were by like 8 points or less. So you're telling me with a guy like Tom Brady, even though he's a little bit older and he might not be able to sling it as deep as he did 5-10 years ago, he's not going to turn the ball over. If you don't turn the ball over, you have a better chance to win. So stop telling me, he can't scramble, this or that. Even if he just dinks and doinks down the field, if you don't throw interceptions and you don't fumble the football, you're going to have a shot to get 10 wins or more. That's facts. Watch football, watch the tape, and that's facts. There's no way Tom Brady's going to throw 20 interceptions, 30 interceptions. It's not going to happen. Don Shingo in the building, $2 donations, bang! Wentz MVP season, watch out. That's possible. Kyler Murray will be in the MVP running. Carson Wentz could. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. But I know Kyler Murray is definitely going to make a big leap this season. But we'll see. And Brady will throw it away before he gets sacked, facts. So, he'll just dump it out of bounds. He's not going to get a lot of grounding calls, and that's really going to benefit Tampa Bay. And you got to think Mike Evans and Godwin are a nightmare matchup. You got Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and Rob Gronkowski. You're not going to be able to guard all 3. You're not going to have all 3 tight ends in at the same time, but maybe 2, right? And then if we can just get the running game going a little bit with Rojo and Keyshawn Vaughn, the rookie, right? Got Tyler Johnson from Minnesota as well. There's a lot of moving pieces there where Tom Brady doesn't have to be like elite Tom Brady for us to win a lot of games. So, And you guys, can say Brady's an old ass, Saints fans like UCG. Breeze is fucking old as shit as well, too. So you can't tell me that you think Breeze is still the same quarterback with his noodle arm. He ain't the same Drew Brees from 5-10 years ago. Let's be real. If he was that great, right, he definitely can manage the game, and he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, right? He obviously, when he came back from the injury, right, but he doesn't have the same arm strength as he did in years past. He's 40 years old, too, my guy. So... And I would take Tom Brady under pressure rather than Drew Brees. Because if Drew Brees was so good and he's one of the best of all time, how the fuck do you guys only have one ring? Right? How the fuck do you got one ring? One ring. If Drew Brees is as good as Drew Brees supposedly is, how do you guys have one fucking ring? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. He's a Hall of Famer, right? But he ain't no Peyton Manning. He's a Hall of Famer. He ain't no Joe Montana. He's a Hall of Famer. He ain't no John Elway. Just saying. You guys are running out of time. Running out of time, my guy. You know what I mean? Drew Brees is a good player. He's a Hall of Famer, but he ain't in that elite category to me. You know, Aaron Rodgers only got one. Drew Brees got one. Right? Russell Wilson's got one. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. I've given you guys a lot of credit over the years when my team has been bad, right? But with my team being good now, don't try to act like Tom Brady ain't going to have a shot to be able to win the NFC South, let alone be able to make a deep run this year and next year, especially with all the pieces that I got. Just saying. Folding under pressure is what the Saints do, right? Folding under pressure is not what the Bucs do because we haven't been good enough to even get there. But when we get there, what do? We win. I've been there one time, and we beat the brakes off the Raiders. And that was one of the best defenses of all time. You have 85 Bears, 2,000 Ravens, 2,002 Bucks. Saints have never had a defense as good as that. That's facts. So, we'll see. We will see. It's going to be fun week one, and I hope it ends up being a game that I can watch on TV unless I have to end up getting a package, for Sunday tickets so that way I can do a live stream for the Saints and the Bucks, because out of all the games that are coming up, this is the most anticipated game for me, right, in many, many years. So I haven't really been this excited in a long time. And beating Jameis Winston, that doesn't prove shit, right? Beating Cam Newton doesn't prove shit. Beating Matt Ryan doesn't prove shit, right? Because if it really did prove something, you guys would have been more battle-tested going into the playoffs. All I hear is a lot of complaining, a lot of finger pointing. It's the ref's fault instead of taking accountability that it's Sean Payton's fault for you guys losing a lot of these games. That's facts. Bad play calling, bad decision making, right? Folding under pressure. So we'll see if you guys fold under pressure again. We will see. We will see. And I feel that Brady's going to play just as good as Drew Brees, if not better. And we'll see about that defense. Your defense might not be the best defense in the NFC South. Could be Tampa Bay. It's going to be fun. We're going to have some fun matchups, a lot of shit talking back and forth, but it's going to be fun. You know what I mean? Finally, we get this type of matchup. Hey, I'm ready, man. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had a team good enough to be able to back it up, but I finally got a team now that's good enough to be able to win some football games, and I can't wait for them to prove it. Okay, we'll see, CG. I'm going to laugh like hell when you guys don't win the division. I'm going to laugh like hell when we beat you guys. I'm going to laugh when we get past you guys and we make the NFC Championship game. And if we make this Super Bowl, I am going to laugh all the way to the bank. I don't even need to win the Super Bowl. But all this 8-8 talk, it's just a bunch of shit, man. So we'll see. We're going to play so loose. Tampa Bay is going to have probably the most fun out of any team in the NFL. The only way we go 8-8, my guy, is the injuries. That's the only way it's going to happen. We'll see, my guy. It's going to be fun, though. I must admit, I'm still, seeing the matchups and seeing who goes where. But beating you guys would give me a lot of satisfaction, especially with all the years past losses. I'm ready for Tom Brady to, bring a championship to Tampa, and make us relevant again. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety Earl Thomas? Probably not. Can they make the AFC Championship game? Possibly. Definitely benefits the Chiefs going back to back. Chiefs and Ravens are the best team in football, And even if the Niners or the Saints or the Packers or any other team makes the Super Bowl this season, can they beat the Chiefs or the Ravens? Probably not. They might be able to hang for a quarter or two, but I don't see them keeping up really with those two teams for 4 quarters. A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. I just can't wait, man. What if Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl? What are you going to say then? What if we beat you twice this season and we play you in the playoffs and beat you again? Or we split in the regular season and we beat you in the playoffs? What's the excuses going to be, CG? What's the excuses for the Saints fans? The refs cheated you? Is that what the excuse I'm going to get? The refs cheated? Instead of taking accountability with Sean Payton, dropping the ball and you guys folding under pressure with Breeze again for the 4th year in a row? A lot of pressure. You guys have the most pressure on your backs than any other team in the NFL. Facts. No other team has pressure. Okay, we'll see. Do you really think that nationally, like outsiders that aren't Tampa or Saints fans, really think that the Saints are winning the Super Bowl or the Saints are going to go far? More people think that Tampa is going to make more of a run than the Saints are. You guys got a lot more pressure on your shoulders, my guy. 3 years in a row. 3 deflating losses. You guys think about those losses every single day. And it's not going away. Minneapolis Miracle, Stephon Diggs, bye. Pass interference call, bye. Should have beat the Vikings when you were up, right? And then what happened? Touchdown in the corner. Kirk Cousins, bye. You know what I mean? You say how bad Tampa Bay is, 8-8, how bad we are. At least we didn't lose like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got there and you were a good team. But the thing is it's not that you were just a good team. You were a Super Bowl worthy team. Super Bowl winner type of team. You could have went to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row and really had a shot to win the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. We're not talking about a team that could just win the NFC South. We're not just talking about a team that was one of the best in the NFC. You had one of the best teams that was Super Bowl worthy. You could have went back to back to back and had a dynasty. You could have had 4 fucking championships. 4, my guy. 4. But you folded like a thin piece of paper, my guy, like fucking origami, all right? And Tom Brady's here now, and it ain't going to get any easier. If anything, it's going to get a lot harder. You ain't going to be able to do that paper crane origami. I'm going to fold that bitch in half and rip it in half. Tom Brady's coming, and I can't wait for week 1. It's going to be fun, my guy. Origami. Ripped in half, my guy. Thin like paper. It's going to be so fun to watch. Week 1, and then obviously as we get further along in that next matchup as well. Tom Brady, baby. I'm coming for y'all. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing safety Earl Thomas? Where could he go? Options. He could go to the Dallas Cowboys. He's from Texas. Could go to the Houston Texans. San Francisco 49ers would be a good fit with the cover 3. New England Patriots with the McCourty Bros and Stephon Gilmore would give them the best secondary in football with the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are an option. Tampa Bay is an option. I mean, shit, if we get Earl Thomas to come to Tampa Bay, that's like the cherry on top. I don't know if we need him, and I don't want him to be a distraction on and off the field, but to have a nice piece on the back end, that would be the best safety we've had since John Lynch. You know, I'll take him. I'll take him, my guy. So we'll see where it goes. But the bottom line is, even if the Saints make the Super Bowl, or the Tom Brady and the Bucs make the Super Bowl, the chances of them beating the Chiefs or the Ravens are almost slim to none. So, especially as we're going into this season, Ravens got an easy schedule. Lamar should be better. It'll be harder to scheme with him. But the Chiefs are the best team in football. I just don't really see how teams are going to compete with that roster. They are the best team in football. And the only thing that's going to derail the Kansas City Chiefs is the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like the Golden State Warriors when they were on their run. The only team that could have beat the Golden State Warriors was the Golden State Warriors with injuries, and that's what happened. But I don't really see that happening with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's facts. So I'm going to end the video here. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, we're coming for your Saints. We're coming for the Falcons. We're coming for the Panthers, everyone in the NFC. We'll see where Earl Thomas lands. Niners, Tampa Bay, Chargers, Patriots, Texans, Cardinals, more than likely the Dallas Cowboys. Once he ends up making his decision, I'll do a video. We'll do a reaction for it. More than likely it'll be the Dallas Cowboys, and that'll shorten the gap between the Eagles and the Cowboys in the NFC East. he'll look good in a Dallas Cowboy uniform. As you can see in the thumbnail, it looks good. It looks natural on him. So, I can see them that being really a natural fit, being from Texas, and that could really help out in that secondary quite a bit. Cowboys need all the help that they can get, especially with Mike McCarthy and his first year. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. We'll have plenty of shit talking with Saints, Falcons, and Panther fans moving forward, and the rest of the NFC and the AFC. Lots of more reaction videos, live streams. NFL is just right around the corner. And with all kidding aside, I love the Saints fans. They bring a lot of swagger, confidence, and passion for their team. And that's what we need. Anyone that is an Eagles fan, a Saints fan, a fan of a team that they've been with through the thick and thin, with all kidding aside, with all the losses and all the heartbreak. It's tough being a football fan. You know what I mean? But if you stick with your team, you know what I mean? It's better to be with your team no matter what than be a bandwagon fan and then just, have the big wins, because you don't really know what it feels like to go through the pain and the losses. But once you end up getting that top thing, Super Bowl or a victory in the NFC or AFC championship game, it really brings the emotion and it will really boil over, when the Eagles won their Super Bowl, for all the times that they lost over the years, and then you can really feel that appreciation of what it means to be a champion and sticking with your team. So I'm excited. NFC South is going to be a battle with the Saints and Tampa Bay. You're going to have the same kind of battles with Seattle and the Niners, Cardinals and the Rams, Vikings and the Packers, especially the Cowboys and the Eagles. I can't wait for that. Patriots and the Bills battling it out. Ravens and Steelers battling it out. Maybe with a little bit of Cleveland Browns sneaking in. And then we'll see the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers, Titans and the Colts. So lots of rivalries to be able to see where things go. We're going to be doing a lot of NFL coverage. And like I said, I'll be back for tomorrow. We're going to be doing a video for HBO Hard Knocks, Chargers and Rams episode 3. So that starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So if you guys have time, hop in and watch the Hard Knocks with me. And I'll be watching that with a few of y'all, and we'll enjoy to see what new action we see with some of the new players. So I appreciate every single one of y'all. I love all you guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best fans on YouTube. I can't wait for the NFL season to start. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I will be back very, very soon. Can the Ravens still win the Super Bowl after releasing Safety Earl Thomas? I don't think so. A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. Have a great rest of your Monday night, and I will be back tomorrow for HBO Hard Knocks at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Join me, Troll Patrol, O. Henry, Dominic, Natasha Cutie Pie, Lenny D, CG, Saints fans. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I'll be back. Peace.